Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of my recap of 90 Day Fiancé. This is episode 12. This is the tell-all part 1. Welcome back for those of you who've been rocking with me since the beginning of this season, and welcome to those of you who are new to my channel. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I know you're gonna like it, so don't even try to wait till the end. Just do it now. This is going to be a really short video because the tell-all didn't really get on and poppin' until Larissa and Colt got there. And they got there in like the last 5 minutes of the whole entire episode, girl. Okay, they've changed the format of 90 Day Fiancé tell-alls because we're seeing a lot more of the behind-the-scenes action. Like there's a lot more stuff happening in the dressing rooms, in the green room, and like in the hallways beyond the couches. So all the couples are getting there. They're already there in hair and makeup, ready to go. They do a little scene of them in the elevator coming up. They do something of them getting off the elevator, and then a little bit of them, like a little confessional in the hallway. And all of the couples are excited to be there. And then when they find out that Larissa and Colt aren't there, they're all kind of annoyed yet relieved at the same time. So apparently by this point, the entire cast is all done with Larissa and Colt. And by the entire cast, I mean Ashley and Jay and Fernanda and Jonathan. They're the only ones that really just don't like Larissa. Apparently, Larissa got into a fight with Ashley and Jay and Jonathan and Fernanda, specifically Fernanda, because after the arrest, after that whole like help me, he took my phone, all that cry out on social media, she then posted a picture of her on a cop car with her butt to the camera. And Fernanda felt like it was rude to do that because all the fans were very concerned, and then she comes back with what felt like a stunt. And Fernanda said something about it, about, hey, you know, your fans were really worried about you, so it seems that this is kind of disrespectful for you to be taking this kind of picture. And I guess Larissa found that to be disrespectful because she thought that Fernanda should have DM'd her instead of putting it on her actual page. And so ever since then, it's kind of just been like, oh, they're doing it just for the publicity, their whole entire stunt. And I'm just like, Fernanda and Jonathan calling Larissa and Colt doing anything for the publicity is like the pot calling the kettle black, because they do the same thing too. We knew from the jump that Jonathan and Fernanda were just there for publicity for themselves. I mean, that's what you do, right? You have an audience all of a sudden, so you kind of exploit that and you take advantage of it and you like promote yourself, promote your brand, promote whatever. Everybody did it, except for, not everybody. But Jonathan and Fernanda definitely did it as well. I guess they just were now really judgy of the way that Colt and Larissa were doing it. But okay. Getting back to what actually happened. So we just talk a little bit from the couples. Ashley is pissed off at Jay and there's no turning back. Jay like tries to explain his behavior away because he says he didn't have any friends. Apparently Tinder has a friend aspect where you can find friends, and as soon as he put his pictures up and as soon as he put all his information, all these girls started DMing him, and so he responded to some because he needed friends. Now I know that Bumble has a friend aspect to it, but I didn't know that Tinder did. So he really didn't get the concept that he shouldn't have opened up a Tinder to begin with. Like he shouldn't have downloaded Tinder from the jump, because he was like, no, I shouldn't have responded. And they're like, no, you shouldn't have done a Tinder. And he's like, oh. He wasn't getting that at all. And I guess, you know, having Jonathan and having Steven say that to him made him understand. But needless to say, Ashley is pissed, and that's the end of that. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Asuelu and Kalani. Asuelu cried about 3 different times throughout this 2-hour period. Once about missing his family, another because of Jonathan talking about, I don't know, girl, just 3 times. So we just talk a little bit about their whole situation, and we start to understand a little bit more about the expectation that they had on Asuelu that he didn't live up to. They were on and off throughout her pregnancy, and then when it came time for Asuelu to send money, he never sent any money, like didn't even talk about it at all. And they felt that he should have sent money. I mean, she didn't ask him for any money, but they felt that he should have sent it. So Kalani was there. She came out with baby Oliver, and baby Oliver was upset, so Kalani started to breastfeed him, which I thought was kind of cute. Kalani was just talking about being auntie daddy and how, you know, it was kind of a joke within the family, and how upset she was with Asuelu and the reasons why she was upset with Asuelu. It made sense. You know, once you have in the context of someone sitting on a couch explaining something, like it makes sense why she would feel the way she felt. And now that they're married, you know, Kalani feels like she just needs to take herself out of their relationship and just let it be up to Kalani. Asuelu said that the reason why he didn't send money back is because he never assumed that they needed any money. That back home he takes care of his family, and so he just thought, you know, America is this rich place, and so obviously she'd be able to afford this baby. And since he was coming there anyway, he didn't think it was important for him to make an attempt to send any kind of money. And that can make sense as well. If you think that your partner is in a better position than you are, and at this time you're taking care of your family, like, why would you send any kind of money back? And they just felt like it didn't matter about the amount of money. It was just the fact that he needed to send some kind of money back. So that was it. I mean, Asuelu was wearing those shoes that he's uncomfortable in with some like black socks and shorts. My thing is, Asuelu cries so much, but he has those really intense leg tattoos. And I'm just like, did he cry during those tattoos? Because like, he just be crying, girl. So much. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Eric and Leda. So they played back all of Leda's terrible behavior, and Leda apologized. She said that she was being a selfish bitch and that in the moment that's just where she was at, and she's embarrassed by her behavior, and you know, she didn't want him to like not take care of his kids. And then everybody chimed in and they were just like, it seems like you want him to stop taking care of his kids so he can take care of your kids. And she's just like, well, I've never gotten any money from my ex-husband for Alessandro. And I'm just like, that is crazy. I mean, I know it's culture, but that's still like crazy that the father wouldn't send any kind of money to his son. Like none. That's crazy. So she apologized and she was crying, and I actually felt for her. And then when she said the whole thing about wanting to come to America so that she could, you know, pursue her medical career, she was just like, well, yeah, that's another reason why I want to come here. And I do love Eric. And, you know, Eric is just kind of like sitting back. You know, he's not really defending her, but he is like there and supporting her physically. And so then the next couple that we talk about is Steven and Olga. And Steven and Olga, all the couples kind of go in on Steven, especially Asuelu. He's like, why do you want to thank you from your fiance? That's your fiance. Like everyone basically is trying to explain to Steven why he was wrong, and Steven gets very defensive and he starts to like fight back and be kind of angry. And then Olga kind of jumps in and says something that kind of diffuses the situation, and then he then apologizes. Like when people are trying to get him to see the error of his ways, he doesn't want to see it. But as soon as he's ready to be like, yeah, you know, it was really crazy of me to do that. I didn't know her and I just wanted to like express myself. Then we start to be like, okay, so he does know that he was being crazy. But when people are telling him he's being crazy, he doesn't want to hear it. So that's another young guy mentality. Like, I don't like that. Like, it doesn't matter if someone's telling you should feel a certain way. You should just be like, yeah, you're right. I was wrong for that. You know, everyone's like, she just went through a major surgery. And like, Ashley's face is like over it. You know, she's pissed at the way he's behaving. And little Richie gets on camera. He's so cute. He's such a cutie tootie. So with Steven, Sean talks about the fact that he lied about the K1 visa with Olga. And he says that he was wrong for lying, but the reason why he lied was not because he wanted to keep something from her. It's just because he felt like she was pregnant and that, you know, he knew she would be very upset if he told her the truth. And that it would make him seem like he didn't want her to come to the US. And so he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to stress her out, but he did want to see if this was something that he really should be doing by going to Russia and being with her first. And I actually think that it was smart. The line wasn't smart, but the reason why he didn't do it right away was kind of smart, you know, and it wasn't the wrong thing. And Kalani agreed with that. Kalani just said, you know, I would want to do the same thing too and make sure that the person who I'm trying to bring to the US isn't a complete crazy person, because the time that he spent in Russia with her was more time than he spent with her previous. So, you know, it is what it is. And he says that also this process is really expensive and that he didn't want Olga to have to live in his grandma's house. He didn't want everything to be dependent on other people. He didn't want to have to get a sponsor. But since he came home and worked his butt off and went to school and did all the things that he needed to do, he could then afford to be her sponsor, so that when she comes to the US, which she's coming to the US fairly soon, she's going to be living with him in his apartment. So actually really, really good, the outcome of like Steven's situation. Even though we're like low-key concerned for Olga because Steven is like a baby on the inside himself, like he is trying to do the right things, and people were clapping and commending him for that. So I was like, okay, Steven, this did end up on a good note. And they're, like I said, to me, their storyline seems the least fabricated, and so it's kind of like this is the pure essence of what 90 Day Fiancé once was, and I actually kind of like it. All right, so I'm not going to talk about Fernanda and Jonathan because, you know, I don't talk about them, and like, who cares about them anyway. Then finally, after like hours and hours and hours of shooting, Larissa and Colt show up, and everyone's pissed at them because they felt like they could all be there on time and they could all do whatever, but Larissa and Colt, they have to like make a grand entrance and be so dramatic, and maybe we should get them flowers for them finally showing up. So the whole cast at this point is like annoyed and pissed off at Colt and Larissa. So Colt and Larissa get there and they lost their luggage, and Larissa is like freaking out because she doesn't want to go on stage ugly. She wants to make sure her makeup is done just right. I mean, she takes like the powder from the makeup person and starts to like put it on herself. She tries on several outfits, and part of me thinks that this is all like the producers kind of stirring up drama as well. But you know, so by the time Colt and Larissa get on stage, everyone's tired and everyone's fed up with them, and Larissa and Colt sit down, and they've already gone through every other couple, so it really is just about them at this point. And Sean asks an explosive question, like specifically, why are Larissa and Fernanda fighting? And then every time Fernanda tries to explain, Larissa just continuously harpy, screeches, screams, "You're jealous of me, I don't like you, your bones, nobody cares about you, who cares about you, blah, 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 blah." Won't let Fernanda talk. Everyone's getting so upset because they are confused, like, why Larissa won't just back down. Like, everything has been so calm and quiet until Larissa got there, and all of a sudden Larissa is screaming like a banshee about everything, and as soon as anyone starts to talk against her, she starts screaming. And Colt is trying to remain calm, but Larissa had came there ready to do battle. And you know what I'm saying, she gave us good TV, but as a cast member, I would be annoyed too. Like, Jay pops up and walks around because he's frustrated. Asuelu starts to scream and like hit his head, and he gets so frustrated that everybody is just like, "Asuelu, calm down," because no one's ever seen him angry before. So it looks like next episode of the tell-all is going to be amazing. This one wasn't that interesting. I mean, we did get some, you know, Jay's situation, his coiffed eyebrows, because Jay's eyebrows were perfect. He got his eyebrows waxed before he came onto the show, and they're so little. I mean, I feel like I just wanted to make them a little bit more bushy or something. Everybody looked really good. Eric even looked quite decent. I hated Leida's outfit because I was like, why do you have all this here with pearls? Weird. I think it was just a good, like, chill tell-all, and it didn't get juicy until Larissa and Colt got there. So next episode is gonna be off the chain. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this episode. Let's have a kiki and conversation down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this episode. If you have any insights, something that I missed, I didn't talk about, go ahead and mention it. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a fantastic day. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.